I'm gonna kick this off with an open question to y'all. Where is the line between rubbing is racing and ramming? Is this a ram or was that rubbing is racing? While y'all start forming opinions on that, let me set the stage and give y'all some context, because I'm not just going to ask y'all a question without giving you some context around the whole situation. So we've loaded into a B-Class dirt spec race driving the Subaru STI. Of course, all of us got the same car because we're in spec racing. And the thing about this car is stock, it does not come with rally tires. So all of us should be pretty much all over the place when we start getting into the dirt. Our saving grace here is that we're in B-Class and stock tires can handle B-Class racing in the dirt. We got a fairly decent corner 1 and corner 2, but the guy in front of me got a really good corner 1 and corner 2. He is ahead. He takes a narrow approach for the next corner and I take a wider approach because I'm looking at the next checkpoint and I'm trying to make that as straight of a line as possible. And during the process, I make some contact with him. Now in my head, that's rubbing his racing, but he thinks I've done something malicious here and tries to push me off the track. So when he tries to push me off the track and I end up baseball batting him into a wall, I'm going to give him an LOL for that crazy attempt to push me off a track for what I assume to be rubbing his racing beforehand. The thing is, this is dirt racing and we're all sliding around all over the place on tires not built for the dirt, so it's going to get dirty. But that was definitely dirty on purpose. I expected it though, so I gave it a little handbrake and made sure the back end of my car hit the wall first so that I didn't get a slowdown penalty for his stupidity. And I dealt with something kind of similar to this in the race right before this one with a guy in now 5th place. I had the inside line heading towards the corner and he had the outside line heading into that corner. And once we got to that corner, he decided to turn in long before I was ready to turn in for that corner. So what he ended up doing is bouncing off the outside of my car right into a wall. And then he starts spamming the donkey emote because he thinks it's my fault. But that dude ends up taking out his frustration on my homeboy in 3rd place because he was not able to catch up to me. I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding within the community about what constitutes dirty driving and what constitutes fair racing. And it's definitely situational based on the event that you're taking part in. For example, compare rallycross driving, which is the closest real-world discipline comparable to Forza's dirt racing, to really any other tarmac-based circuit racing. Before we get back to those comparisons, let's take a look at this race again. Here's an example of what happens when somebody slides into me on accident because my line is not as great. He does exactly what I did to the guy in 1st place. He immediately gives me space. And when we get to the fast right-hander, he knows we're not going to be able to get through it too wide, so he brakes early and lets me go first. He does not make an attempt to push me off the track, and I do not make an attempt to push him off the track. Because I understand we're in dirt racing in tires that are not built for dirt racing. So outside of the occasion where the guy in 1st place tried to push me off the track, all other contact is a result of under-optimized cars being driven on dirt tracks. But now back to comparing the real-world disciplines to their Forza equivalents. In both rallycross and any other tarmac-based racing, you will see contact taking place. Outside of drag racing, I cannot think of another race discipline that punishes you simply for making contact with another racer. And if you've ever watched rallycross racing, those are insanely physical races between the racers. I don't say that to condone throwing yourself into somebody else into a corner. This is how you should approach a corner. My opponent goes to slide into the corner and I'm gonna slide right next to him. It almost looks like a coordinated drift. And yes, the idea is definitely not to make contact with your opponents. But what people need to understand is that dirt racing in the Forza Horizon games is 100% elbows out racing. But we'll get back to that in a second because I haven't been able to catch up to 1st place and the Forza gods feel like he deserves some karma. He decides to dine with Barry R in the middle of the race and gets a massive slowdown penalty for it, and I deliver him another LOL. Because if you drive dirty with me, I'm going to do my best to get under your skin and make you drive worse. A large part of racing is mind games, so do with that what you will. As we approach the final set of corners, I'm going to have to get on my brakes heavy here because we are going downhill, the track is wet, and there is a solid wall to the right. And my boy in 1st place shows you exactly what happens when you don't use your brakes properly. Ah, bless him. And now we're on the final stretch, and we're manual clutch, so we're definitely going to walk away from everybody that's running manual or automatic, so the race is in the bag for us. But this is all to say that some contact is acceptable in races. They call it rubbing is racing. If you cannot take your car being touched, then you really shouldn't be going online. Everything's situational though. Dirt racing on street tires will lead to some unintentional contact, and that just has to be accepted. I joined this lobby on the 2nd round, won 1st place in the 2nd race, and won 2nd place in the 3rd race, and stole these boys' championship. Great racing as always.